Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Xal Talk Show. We are going to code emacs Lisp today. Pure emacs Lisp. Fantastic. Emacs Lisp. Okay, so let's begin. So this is gonna be condensed emacs Lisp live coding and tutorial. So what are we going to do? We are going to show in browser. We are going to write 1 or 2 or 3 commands. One is narrowtoregion, xal narrowtoregion, a customized version of it. One is sortlines, a customized version of it. And another one is different. It's hilight-unicode, highlight all characters that's not ASCII, such as emoji, arrow, math symbols, hilight-unicode. So 30 minutes to 40 minutes coding. And today is 2022, January 22nd. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so if you have questions for me related to Emacs or Emacs Lisp, post it now. Okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to the pink window shows all my commands, calls, and keystrokes. So let's begin. Okay, so start Emacs Lisp. So this is the first one we are going to do. Xal narrowtoregion, I'm going to explain. Okay, so just open a buffer. Any buffer will do. Just open a buffer. So you are looking at, I'm using xal emacs Lisp mod. Xal emacs Lisp mod. Okay, so D for define, expand, define function, and the function name is narrowtoregion. Good. Now, docstring, all important. So narrowtoregion, let me explain what that is. Okay, now there is a command in Emacs called narrowtoregion that lets you focus on particular section of your buffer. For example, let's say I have several of these. So I want to do find and replace. For example, I want to replace all region, the word region, to something else. But I only want to do it within this paragraph. So I can make a selection and call narrowtoregion. You see, the buffer only shows this part. And you can see the command is over there, narrowtoregion. Okay, so now you can do query replace, for example, region, region, in the mini buffer, replace with XX, for example. Do it, replace for all. So now it's done. Now if you move to all the way up, it won't let you move because Emacs right now it's limited to this region. So now when you are done, you can call widen. Okay, do it and scroll up. You can see now the other parts. So you can see the widen. Widen is a command. You can call it by meta x widen. Okay, so that is what narrowtoregion is. But however, let me show you. Let's go to Xal Talk Show. Okay, today's talk show. So you are right now looking at today's talk show page, which is this HTML, and you can see this is a buffer. Now, if I want just to focus on these two parts, I can make a selection. I can make a selection, then narrowtoregion. Now, anything I do will be limited to this. But the other parts are still there. So the problem, what we are going to do is that when you call narrowtoregion, you have to make a region first. You have to make a selection. Start a selection, then move your cursor, for example, up to here, then narrow. Okay. Now widen again. You can see you have to make a selection first. But oftentimes, you want a command that you don't have to make a selection because make a selection involves 2 or 3 more keystrokes. So you want it, if there's no selection, you want the narrowtoregion just work on the current block of text defined by separation of empty lines. So you see there's empty line here and there's empty line there. So you can just call the command and we'll automatically narrow to this part without having to, without you having to make a selection, especially with the mouse, it's more tedious. Okay, so that's the reason we are writing it. So let's begin writing it. Okay, so narrowtoregion, let's begin. Okay, so narrowtoregion, first of all, you want if you want to check if there's selection first. Okay, so if let's put some documentation here. Okay, same as narrowtoregion, but if no selection, narrow to the current block. Okay, that's documentation. Version, today's date. Okay, now let's begin. Now, first of all, the first thing you want to do is check if there's a selection. So the way you do that is region active P, expand. Good. Region active P means P in emacs Lisp convention and in Lisp in general, when a function ends with P or a variable ends P, that P stands for predicate. That came from logic. So basically, practically, that means this function or variable, this function always returns either true or false. So if it ends in P, that's a convention. It returns true or false, or the value of the function is of the variable is true or false. So if region is active, then you just say narrowtoregion, okay, and narrowtoregion, two arguments, two positions, region beginning and the region end, okay, and you don't need the save restriction. So let's remove those. Okay, so hold on a second. So remove. Put that here. So okay, narrowtoregion. So if there's a region, narrow to region beginning and region end. Now, if there is no region, then you need to find the position of the empty lines beginning and empty lines of the beginning of two empty lines, like right here, and the end of the region is right here. You know, they are separated by two empty lines. So let's go to my emacs Lisp tutorial. So you search for practical emacs Lisp, and you find practical emacs Lisp, and you go to, there is a code. So get text block right there. Click on that. So this is the code you want. Let's copy it. It's already written, so it saves time. So let's paste it here. The essential part is this. Okay, so let's cut it and put it here. Let's remove that. Prettify the code. Okay, so when there is no region, this is the part you want. Okay, wait, this part gets you hold on a second. So this part, okay. So this block of text, they returns the beginning position of the block and end position of the block by searching for two empty lines. You see, search regular expression, search backward. You search for two empty lines, then you move forward. So that's the beginning of the block, and when you found it, you set the point P1 to it. By the way, yesterday we explained this whole thing because we did a similar thing 2 days ago. So watch that. So yeah, just in Scaffa, yeah, all the code, you know, you can just find on my, you know, that's the best thing. Practical emacs Lisp, thousands, literally over 1,000 pages and examples. Fast way to learn emacs Lisp and emacs. So if you like my stuff, you guys or whoever is watching, you know, you can support me. Buy xai emacs tutorial. Buy it. It's fantastic. It's a gesture, and you get the downloaded, you know, you get the fast version, and so full of emacs Lisp tutorials and examples and advanced emacs Lisp and writing how to write a major mod. And I did several videos. By the way, this one is yesterday. So let's let's focus. Let's go back to the code. Okay, let's finish this. So once you find the beginning position of the paragraph or block, you set, to P1. So you need a variable. So let's make a variable here. Okay, so let's say so let's let is a local variable, and say let's declare two variables, P1 and P2. You don't need the $sign, but I use the $sign for variable, because that way in xar emacs lisp mod it's highlighted, so it's easier to see all the variables. Okay, so copy that, paste it here, prettify the code. So here's a code. So let P1 and P2 save excursion. Save excursion means whenever you move cursor, when your function is done, you should move the cursor back to where it was. Otherwise, user gets confused. User calls your command moves the cursor in order to do something. When it's done, normally you should return the cursor to wherever that cursor was. So that is what this function save excursion is. So you can look, describe function. Okay, let's show the pink window. Describe function, save excursion, then you see the documentation for the save excursion function. Okay, so that's save excursion. Then you search for the blank lines, search for the empty lines, then you set P1. In the same way you search, you search the end of the empty lines, then you get P2, set it. Then, okay, then now the code is a bit nested here. So then then you just say narrowtoregion P1 and P2, and you don't need the save restriction. So okay, so that is it. That is it actually. So let me clean the code, remove redundant part, for example. So okay, that's it. So evaluate the code. You can see I'm calling run current file, but you can also call eval region. Okay, so let's try it. Okay, so let's say if I put an empty line here and my cursor is here. Now if I call narrowtoregion, it should just narrow to that part, okay, without making any selection. Okay, so call it. Wait, is that right? Undo. It should begin here and end here because there's no empty lines in between there. So let's do it again. So make sure we got the code correct. Okay, it should. Okay, let's do it. Oh, okay, I see. I'm not actually, I was calling narrowtoregion. I wasn't calling our version. So now let's call our version. Meta X xar narrowtoregion. You can see in the mini buffer. Meta X xar narrowtoregion. Fantastic. Widen. Now let's put the cursor here, and it should narrow to this part. Meta X xar narrowtoregion. Fantastic. Widen. Okay. Now let's try do some edge case testing. So show white space. So let's say the buffer does not have a line end at the end. When you call your command, what will happen? Because it's trying to search for empty lines. So let's try it. Xar narrowtoregion. Do it. Fantastic. It works. Widen. Now what if there is no lines in the beginning? So do it. Fantastic. It works. So okay, this is done. So we got this function done. Now this function is going to be part of xafly keys, so let's put it there. So let's delete it. Delete it. Now call describe key, then press a key. That's one of the function in xafly keys. So I press this key. This key calls xafly command mod activate, and then so that the documentation pops up. So I can just tap to the link xaflykeys.el to the file. Press enter. Then I'm seeing the source code. So this is one of the fastest way. Now here's a tip. Okay, this is the fastest way when you want to open some emacs lisp package file. You know, as opposed to call open file, then type the directory path, but you don't remember where is the file located, so you have to, you know, type completions directory. That's directory completion. That's tedious. So instead you just call describe key. So you can see all the commands here. You call describe key, then you type the key to one of that calls one of the command in the package. Then it'll show you the documentation for that function. Then there's a link to the source code where is it defined. Then press enter. So that's how we got here. So now let's open a new buffer, paste it. So this is our code, okay? And let's list matching lines. Let's list all the functions in this package. Let's see where do I want to put it. I mean, what order, where, which position. So let's see, comments and questions. Okay, so let's put in narrowtoregion. So this is some customized narrowtoregion. Where should you put it? You know, usually you want to put it where of other functions that does similar things, like use okay, let's see. Space to new line, fill and fill, uppercase region, toggle case, delete backward char, copy all, forward punctuation, end of line or block, beginning of line or block. Okay, somewhere here, okay. Copy or cut or paste previous, show key or ring. Okay, let's put here forward smart quote. Okay, so let's put it, yeah, okay, let's put it here, paste it, there it is. Fantastic. Narrowtoregion. Now save the file. Now you want to, now in xafly keys there's a key that calls narrowtoregion. Let me show you. Describe key space n. You can see space n runs the command narrowtoregion. Now I want to replace that key by calling our own function, our own version of the function. Okay, search for narrowtoregion, copy narrowtoregion, search narrowtoregion. Okay, there are so many. Okay, so where is it? Okay, there it is. Okay, so you see that line. Now you want to replace that by narrowtoregion. Now, fantastic. So this is xafly keys. Now it just improved. Okay, now let's go all the way to the top and modify the version line. So today, insert today's date, timestamp, date and time and seconds. Then increase the version. Should we? Well, yeah, it's because it's a new feature. So a new version of xafly keys. Okay, it's on GitHub. So let's push to GitHub so you guys can see the code right away. So okay, so but first of all, right now you are looking at xa packages. So these are all my packages. Remove the backup files, delete them. So these are all my packages. But I have a dedicated GitHub for xafly keys. So open that and call the command ju. That will copy the current file into into the directory of xaflag keys on a dedicated Git for xaflag keys. Okay, so we just copied, and now let's call vcdiff. See what's the difference between the current version and the previous version in Git. So you can see we changed the version date, and we changed, so this entire block is new, xa narrowtoregion. Okay, and some other fixes. Okay, yeah, some other fixes I did before. So anyway, so it's there. So okay, that's good. Go to emacs shell, the fastest, most convenient shell, written in emacs Lisp. So you see, when you master emacs Lisp, everything is possible. So now, git status, git add, git commit. Okay, so you want to say xaflag keys. Okay, so you want to say new xa. Okay, so what's the name? Xa narrowtoregion. Okay, new xa narrowtoregion. This, okay, you cannot see it, but okay, so git commit message xaflag keys new xa narrowtoregion. Okay, enter. Fantastic. Now git push. Okay, now it's on GitHub xaflag keys. Download it and use it, and it's free. Okay, we finished one job. Now let's close. Okay, so narrow. I want to update the key so I can use it myself. Let me show you. So right now I'm in this xaflag define keys. That's the heart of xaflag keys. So we need to evaluate this function, because we made a change, so that I don't have to restart Emacs. I can have it right away. So do it. Okay. So now describe key space n. It says runs the command xa narrowtoregion. Correct. Fantastic. Okay, so that's one thing done. So let's get on to the next thing. Close. Don't save. Undo. This is our pad, our temporary pad. Now press a key to make them go back to the Xa Talk Show page. Showing browser, you can see the code here as well. And color it. Back to browser, refresh. Fantastic color. Okay, next. How long have I been talking? 22 minutes. We can do one or two more. Comments and questions. Emacs Master. Peter, Gade, the dude. Fantastic. Next. Write a xa sort lines that works on current block if there's no region. Okay? This is very similar to previous, so we're gonna do this fast, silent. It's like silent movies, silent era, silent movies. So let me just do this quickly. Define, the command name would be xa sort lines, okay? Put here, paste, like sort lines, but if no region, do the current block, okay? Version, date, okay? That's the command. So again, just like narrowtoregion, open a new buffer, open a new window. Let's go to, now let me show you some variations. Okay, so describe key. Let's jump to the definition of narrowtoregion. Xaflag keys. Okay, what is this? Okay, so go to xaflag keys, search for narrow. Okay, here's now remember in this narrowtoregion, we need to find the beginning and end position of the text block, and we did that using this code. But there's an easy way. Okay, so there's because I have already written a package. You don't need all these 10 lines. So there's already a package. So let me show you. Search for block. Okay. There. Okay. So let me just show you. Yeah. Let me show you. Okay. So you see this block of code will find the current the position of the beginning paragraph and end position of end paragraph. Now you can do that by this one single command, get bounds of block or region. Get bounds of block or region. Yeah. So let me show you how this works. Okay. So saves you a lot of code. Okay. So this command will return a vector of 3 things: beginning position, end position. No, it returns 2 things: beginning position and end position. What are they? If there's a region, these positions are of the region. If there's no region, these positions are the beginning and end of the current block. So these 2 lines replace these 10 lines. Okay. So let's yeah, so delete that. So delete that. We can actually put it here. So now we got the yeah, so now we got the block. Now sort lines. Okay, sort lines. Now we need to call sort lines. Okay. Now, first of all, look at the documentation of sort lines. Describe function sort lines. Sort lines. So here is the syntax of sort lines. Okay, begin end is going to be P1, P2. That's the beginning and end position. Now, what is reverse? Reverse is true or false. Okay, sort lines in the region alphabetically. Reverse the neo means descending order. Okay. So reverse is true. T is the convention in emacs Lisp to stand for true. T the variable or symbol. Okay. So that's it for this code. So simple. Sort lines. So if there's no selection, just simply sort the current block of text. Okay. Eval the region. Now let's move the cursor here. First of all, copy the function name. Put the cursor somewhere here. Call it. Paste it, sort lines. Okay, do it. Fantastic. Now let's copy it, duplicate, and let's do it again. Call it, if we call it now, it should sort the lines here. So put the cursor somewhere here, call it, sort lines. Fantastic. It doesn't, you see, it doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. Saves you time. You don't have to make a selection first. It's annoying in emacs, the emacs Lisp, the emacs command sort lines, it requires a region. But if you don't have a region, the behavior is kind of chaotic, unpredictable. It's not easy to figure out because I've tried, for example, because, for example, let's call sort lines. Now we don't have any selection, so let's call sort lines. Okay, so which region is going to sort? Sometimes it's the beginning, from the beginning of the buffer to your cursor position. Sometimes it's from your cursor position to end of the buffer. It depends, so it's confusing. So let's try it. Do it. Okay, it didn't do anything. So apparently, if your cursor is on an empty line, it doesn't do anything. So let's put the cursor here. Call it. You see, it sorts. Okay, so the behavior is that it sorts the previous two marks. Yeah, I think that's the behavior. So anyway, we want this one, without region, just sort the current text block. Okay, so now we're gonna copy this and put it to xafly keys. Okay, do it again. List matching lines, list or define, and see where do we want to put it. Okay, search for narrow. Let's put it around the narrow-to-region. Okay, so put it here, there. Okay, and also let's modify the narrow-to-region. We don't want this this giant block of code. Instead, we can just use this, these two lines. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so that's it. That's so now we have added sort lines. Let's add a key to it. So search for sort lines. Okay, so you can see this line. I want to, now it's going to be sort lines. Fantastic. Evaluate this region. Okay, we've done two things now. Let's see. Yeah, now we did two functions. Okay, make a backup, close it, close it, close it, put it back to the HTML, syntax color it, show in browser. What? Wait. Syntax color it, expand the buffer, show in browser. Fantastic. We finished one function and two functions. One more. Okay, one more. We talked for 30 minutes. One more. hilight-unicode. So this is a bit different. Okay, so let's begin to write it. Close it, reopen. Let's begin to write it. Define the function name. Hilight-unicode. Okay, documentation. Hilight-unicode characters. Highlight all Unicode characters in current block or selection. Okay, version, date. Okay, again we need to make a selection of the current block. Okay, so let's copy code again. Yeah, okay, here, copy the code. By the way, so that code get bounds of block or region is in one of my packages. You can see, so you are looking at the source code of that code. And if you look at, so this command, this function is calling this function to do the work. So if you go there, go to the definition of that function. Where is it? Here. You see, that's the function. Basically just like we manually coded before. It's doing it by searching for two empty lines using regular expression. And this package, you can go to the top, you can see the URL here, go to the URL, open it, show in browser. Wait, not xafly keys. What? Okay, wait, that's not the command. What? Oh, never mind. I defined it in xafly keys. Okay, but anyway, there's a package. Let me show you here. Okay. So general purpose elisp util. This one socketthing. Okay. So socketthing, this is a replacement for the built-in emacs thing at point, because thing at point has got some problems. It's very useful, but it doesn't. For example, you cannot use it to get the beginning and end position of the current block of code. That's why. So I wrote this one. So if you like it, buy it. It's open source. Okay, so what is it we are doing now? So get block of code. Yeah, so we need to so let's get okay, close it. So so we want to write highlight-unicode. So first of all, okay, so we declare local variables, bounds, that's beginning position, basically P1 and P2, that's the beginning position and the end position. I think I had a mistake somewhere. So P1, P2, that's our local variable. Then, yeah, okay, so anyway, so narrowtoregion we don't need. So we define P1 and P2. And now we got the beginning position and end position. So now we just search forward. We want to search for any character that's not a Unicode. Okay, search for any character that's not Unicode. So the regular expression is going to be this. Okay, so the square bracket in regular expression means anything, any of the character inside it. Okay, then inside it, if you begin with the correct, that means not whatever follows. Okay, it kind of reverse. So not anything follows. And what follows? You give it a square bracket, colon, ASCII. That means any ASCII character. So this regular expression, the whole thing considered, it will just find any ASCII character. For example, it will not find things like pi, alpha, Greek, emoji, like copyright. Those are Unicode, so it will not find them. So anyway, so you want to find a ASCII, you want to find a non-ASCII character, one or more. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, let me write this quickly. So narrowtoregion. Okay, P1, P2. So we work in this region. Then we say go to char, move cursor to point min to the beginning of the buffer, basically. Then we want to say while, okay, while something, while we search for a character that's not ASCII, then we don't want to replace match. We want search for a character not ASCII. Then we want to highlight. Okay, so how do you highlight? You go to emacs lisp tutorial, practical emacs lisp, write the major mod. Then you go down. We covered this 2 days ago. overlay highlighting. Okay, that's what you want. And basically you just want this line of code. So let me copy that. So in two videos ago I explained this. Okay, so I'm not going to explain it now. So let's just do it. So basically we create an overlay, kind of overlays for highlighting. So we create an overlay. Technically it's called overlay. So you need two positions, begin and end. So beginning position is P1, our variable. End position is P2, our variable. So wait. Okay. So actually, let me start over. So once it finds a Unicode sequence, okay, a character, any Unicode sequence. So the regular expression search forward. Emacs will save the beginning position and end position of the matched string. Okay, so how do you get that matched string? That's match beginning 0 and match end 0. So match beginning 0, that means the 0 means the whole string. That means return the beginning position of the matched whole string. Okay, and similarly for match end. So that's what this overlay should be here. So overlay, make overlay match beginning, okay, then match end. Okay, and face not bold, highlight. Okay, we need the default face. Let's see, face, define face. So these are built-in face. Face means a set of font color, background color, font size, things like that. That's a face. So one of the built-in face is highlight, H-I-G-H. Okay, spelled out fully, highlight. Okay, so make overlay. So let's make this easier to see. So let's prettify. Okay, prettify the code. So make overlay beginning and end position. That's okay. So then face highlight. Okay, then we don't need to active. Okay, so okay, basically that's it. That's the code. That's the whole code. And it's so while search that and optional. Okay, bound nil, no error, true, count, we don't care. Okay, that's the whole code. So let's double check. Okay, xar highlight Unicode. Highlight any Unicode. Okay, highlight all Unicode characters in current block or selection. Okay, now P1, P2 are the beginning and end positions. Now we call this socket bounds block or region to return those positions. May it be a selection or no selection, it's the beginning and end of paragraph. Okay, then we save restriction, then we narrow to region, then we go to the beginning, then we start to search, and while if it's found, make an overlay, color it. Okay, that's it. Eval the region. Now we need to test it. So how do we test it? We can test it right here, but it won't do anything because there's no Unicode in this buffer. So, but we can try. Coed, xar highlight Unicode, do it, nothing happens. Okay, so let's go to, so let's open Unicode emoticons. Okay, so let me show you. Okay. Okay, so showing browser. So this is one of my website HTML. So let's okay, this buffer is too big. It's kind of very big. So let's go to something shorter here. Hands. Okay. So let me go to, okay, so let's close that, copy the URL, open the file. So here is the file. So you can see all the Unicode, but let's copy it, open a new buffer, paste it, so that, and right now it's in HTML mod. That's why you see them yellow. So let's turn it to the fundamental mod. Fundamental mod is a mod with no features, basically. That's like no mod, okay? So now you are looking at this file. Typically when you have a file from internet or whatever, sometimes it's important, it's very useful. You want to know weird characters, like sometimes there's invisible Unicode characters, like num-breaking space, things like that. So you want to be able to see them. One of the things you can do is turn on the show white space. But some of the Unicode is not highlighted. You see that one? So that's why you want to write the command highlight Unicode. That's why we want to do that, highlight Unicode. Okay, so let's try it. So you can see there's some Unicode here, and here. Turn off the white space, okay? So you can see here, and here. So let's call the command. All those characters should be highlighted, okay? Call highlight Unicode. Do it. Failed. Wait. Oh, it success. You can see. You see those characters? They are highlighted. Okay. So this command only does on the current paragraph. The current text block. Remember. Comments and questions. Okay. There's some comments. Okay. I'm gonna answer it in a bit. Okay. Almost done. Okay. So Unicode, you get success. So let's make a modification to the code, to our code, because usually you don't want to do it in the current block of code. You want to do it to the whole buffer. Okay, so let's begin. So let's do to the whole buffer. Buffer big. Okay, so P1 and P2 will be point mean, point max. Okay, basically that's a buffer beginning and buffer end positions. Okay, that's it. Okay, eval buffer. Now switch to our code. You can see there's lots of Unicode. You see lots of. So let's call the command. It should do highlight all the Unicode characters, not in the whole buffer. So call it. Do it. What did we call? Yes. Okay, it worked. You see all those. It worked. But I don't like the color. Okay, so let's save this file, xx today's date, so we can open it later. Close it, reopen. So the coloring is good. Now back to our code. Now I don't like the highlight color. We want to make it more stand out. So let's say red. Let's say background red or something. Okay, background red. So let's go back to the we are almost done. Let's go back to the xi emacs tutorial. Where is it? Okay, let's go to xi emacs lisp tutorial. Show in browser. Then how to write a major mod. Define face. Let's see if there's some predefined face we can use. Default, bold, italic, underline, shadow, link, highlight, error, warning. Okay, let's try warning. Okay, because we wanted We wanted warning. So what's an example of warning? So let's see. So what you can do is list faces display. Call the command, and emacs will show or example predefined faces in emacs Lisp. So we want something standing out like that. So this is custom group tag 1. That's not good. Custom invalid. Something bold. Diet warning. Diet warning. That means you have to load diet. So I do incomplete regular expression. So you want something term color red. Okay, no. Trailing white space. Okay. So if you're gonna use some of these, that means you need to load those package. I don't want to load those package because defining a face is just 4 lines of code. I can just define a face myself. So the preference is that you want to use a face that's already built in and loaded by Emacs. Then you pick a package. I mean, the package should be something everybody uses. You don't have to load it. So anyway, so I'm getting a bit, I guess, where's warning? Let's search for warning. Okay, diet warning, font lock warning. Okay, this one, fantastic. This is font lock is everyone loads font lock. So that's a face we want. Font lock warning face. Fantastic. Okay, close it. So close it. Let's go. So here it's gonna be font lock warning face. Eval the buffer. Go to our test file. This one. That's right. Magnify. You see there's lots of Unicode here, and that. See. So let's call it. XR faces this XR highlight Unicode. Do it. Fantastic. Okay, you see here, and okay, so this is not too bad. It would be better if they are more standing out, like a background color or something, or big font. But this is good enough for our first version. Okay, so this is fantastic. Done. So now we copy this. Let's clean up the code. Okay, remove those commas, make it shrink. Highlight all Unicode characters in current buffer. Okay, let's say buffer. Okay, not selection. Let's just say buffer. Okay. Actually, selection is good. Okay. Anyway, that's what we have. So that's good enough. Back to the HTML page. Syntax correct, show in browser. So today we did 3 functions, 1, 2, 3, and let's put highlight Unicode into, where do we want it? Let it be for now. Okay. Thank you guys for watching. If you like my stuff, buy my Emacs tutorial. Okay, and donate PayPal, Patreon, and stuff. 5. So we did 50 minutes. We did 3 Emacs Lisp functions. Fantastic. So I'm gonna read comments. We close in 3 minutes. So have I used xemacs? Yes, of course. I used xemacs for 6 years, from 1998 to 2005. So I used xemacs for 7 years. Okay, 1998 to 2005 or 2006. Then I switched to GNU Emacs because xemacs is kind of dying, mostly because Unicode support. GNU Emacs has always been inferior. Opinions differ, but I think GNU Emacs has been inferior. so that's history. Okay, so that's another topic. Let me show you xali xemacs. So usually, if you want to know anything, what I think of, just search for my name and that topic word. Okay, so here's the article: my experience of Emacs versus xemacs, and another article: GNU Emacs and xemacs schism. So this is the granddaddy history of open source. Open source. Emacs, GNU Emacs versus xemacs is considered to be the first big example of the fork. Okay, like fork. Anyway, today's attitude towards forking is totally different because of GitHub for commercial greed reasons. So anyway, so here's an article about xemacs. So yes, I used it. I used it for 7 years, and it's much better. It's much better in a lot of ways than GNU Emacs. So I have a list of them. Historical merits of xemacs. Okay, I'm not going to go over, so because today is Emacs list. What about SX Emacs? I never used. Okay, I understand it's by a guy. I was talking to him on IRC about 15 years ago, just a little bit. So he's a guy. He's a fanatic. Okay, SX Emacs, the guy who created it. I don't know what's happening to that. I haven't heard them. This is long ago. This is 15 years ago. So today's generation is totally different. The hacker generation, those xemacs, and those generation are dying out. It's gone. So today you have the millennial and programmers and the Zoomers. They don't know. They know much less. So anyway, I don't know what's going on with the SX Emacs. I don't think it's really that much going. Xemacs has been dead for many years. I mean, basically dead. What do you think of them compared to GNU Emacs? Okay, that is my answer. Xemacs. So back in 1990s, so this is early, this is basically during the whole 1990s. Xemacs is superior in every aspect. Lots of features you need, and they are all in xemacs. They are not in GNU Emacs. Why? The fanaticism of Free Software Foundation, the Free Software Foundation, and that fanaticism. So they don't do nothing. They don't do anything. You have to donate. You have to, Richard Stallman. They focus on ethics. They focus on their ideal of ethics. They don't really care about anything else. But meanwhile, the history of xemacs is commercial based because the Lisp machine, the big history, Lisp machine corporations and all that. The Lisp craze, lots of commercialization, and the xemacs began. It was known as Lucid Emacs, and Lucid Emacs is started by a Lisp company, AI company that's doing artificial intelligence, so this is around 1990, just about the end of AI period. So they cannot make much money. Then they started to do a IDE for C++ based on Emacs. So they work on they want to make GNU Emacs to be the best C++ IDE. Okay, so they worked on that, and they talked with the GNU people. I mean the intention is that they are all into open source. I mean not open source but the Free Software Foundation. The intention is that we're gonna make this great free software, and we can sell. That's you can sell free software. Anyway, this is long history, but because today's generation, you don't even know the difference between open source and Free Software Foundation. They are big enemies. If you say, thank you, Richard Stallman, for your open source, he'll get very, very, very offended. He'll say, fuck yourself. They are big enemies, Free Software Foundation and the open source. Open source is beginning by ESR, the guy ESR, I would say I don't think he's I'm not gonna talk about that. Okay, so that's another day. So anyway, so eventually the xemacs and the so here's another famous guy, the JWZ, okay, Jamie Zawinski. He's a cocky asshole type of guy. I admired him for actually, I kind of, I like, because, JWZ, not JZW, okay? You probably heard of him because he's famous for the .com, So there's Wikipedia, and his website looks like that for the past 30 years, 20, for the past 20 years. Since, this is a theme beginning with the Matrix movie, kind of. So that's, Jamie Zawinski. So Jamie Zawinski, he's a famous Lisp coder, and he is the main coder for xemacs, the Lucid Emacs. It's not called xemacs, it's called Lucid Emacs. So they started to, collaborate with Free Software Foundation, GNU Emacs, and they enhance it, they patch it back, but eventually there's a problem because for many reasons, they started to have problems. Then Richard Stallman claimed, you need to do this, but today they are a for-profit corporation, right? But anyway, long story. I cannot do justice to the story without screwing up the details because to the young people today, you don't know what's going on. So anyway, here is a discussion of the schism by Ben Wing. Ben Wing is the next leader of xemacs after Jamie Zawinski. Okay, basically, Richard Stallman is just very difficult to work with, very impractical. Even though you have a commercial entity that's willing to help you. They have money. They contribute a lot, but eventually Richard Stallman, working with Richard Stallman, you got problems. Richard Stallman have problems with all the Linuxes, and all the Debian. In the beginning, they all say, Richard Stallman is the god. Please be our chairman or something. Then after a few years, there's always problems. Then eventually people voted Richard Stallman out. And now, after 10 years, after 20 years, today you have the Malayan Gen, there's something else, social justice. Then they claim Richard Stallman is a rapist or whatever. So Golang, I like Golang, but Golang, Golang is not, I like it, but it's not a language I actually code that much every day. So in order to do Golang, I have to be familiar with it. So, otherwise I'm going to be stuck in my talk show often. So $sign doesn't mean anything in Emacs Lisp, but in my case, I use it so that the variable stands out in XAR Emacs Lisp mod. Okay, bye guys. Buy my tutorial, okay? Donate me, buy me a drink. Bye. So we shut down in 2 minutes. So 3 Emacs Lisp code, fantastic. Okay, so let's close that, don't save, close that, fantastic, or the emoji. Okay, bye.